So we're going to go ahead and cover my Euro trade, right? I just want to, of course, start on DXY and just sort of show you my thought process, what I was thinking, and basically the daily bias behind this specific trade. So before I do that, I actually want to just hop over to Discord, and you can actually see, you can sort of backtest or backdate the specific date and time here. Essentially, I sent out an idea on DXY. I said potential clean draw on DXY for tomorrow, which I'll show you in a second. And I said we respected this daily or this IFEG nicely. Okay, so we had this IFEG all the way to the left here. Very nicely respected. Also volume imbalance was respected nicely. And then I wanted to see the following day go ahead and expand to this low here. Okay. So let's just hop back over. Actually, you know what? Just to show you as well, obviously this is the screenshot of it playing out, and here's a screenshot of the trade. So DXY, we had this inversion level, okay, that had been respected. We had formed a swing point away from it, and I was looking for this candle to go ahead and tag this low here, which is also previous week's low. So if you revisit the video titled this concept has a, I believe it says 78% success rate or win rate. Basically, previous candles high or low has a very high percentage chance to get reached for, and that's why this was in fact my target. Okay, so let's just go over to Euro, because that's obviously where I actually took the trade. Same thing here. So we had this inversion level, got respected very nicely, and instead of the previous week's low being tagged, we wanted to see the high get reached for. Okay, right, so I wanted to see price retrace on the wick here, and I'm actually going to use this candle so you can sort of follow along and understand where we were on the daily time frame at all times. Let's get rid of this. So again, respect away. I wanted to basically position myself inside of this wick here. Okay, so somewhere around that level I was trying to position myself to then go ahead and TP in and around this level here. Okay, so off of the daily chart I had marked the immediate rebalance level. I didn't really mark the order block, but you could have if you wanted to. If we go to the 4 hour, okay, I had this FEG marked. Right, this gets tagged after price actually reaches for the target. So, you know, we'll just resume here. So this FEG ended up acting as a breakaway gap, which basically means it's not going to get tapped. I'll talk to you about why I started to anticipate that and the potential reason behind I thought that could be likely. But again, you can see the respect of the immediate rebalance level, which is quite important here. If we go on the hourly now you'll start to see why I wasn't as interested, or I was okay to allow this area not to get tagged. So on the hourly, you can see again, we are in that sort of bullish order flow. You know, I'll just go out to the 4 hour again, just to sort of show this off as well. I forgot to mention this. So you can clearly see that shift from sell side to buy side delivery. We have the formation of order blocks. We're making higher highs and higher lows. We also have the formation of bullish PD arrays in the form of FEGs, order blocks, etc., etc. So we know clearly intraday that we are bullish and order flow is trending towards the previous week's highs target. Okay. So jumping back down on the hourly, we went ahead and we filled this hourly FEG, sweeping out a low, which you'll see the significance of that in a second. And we had a strong bullish closure to the upside. Okay, so this is basically how it looked when I ended up executing. Okay, well, similar to this. Essentially, we had filled an FEG, swept out a low, and had a huge displacement to the upside. If I quickly just visit the 15-minute, you can see that this is in fact a London protraction cycle. This is when Asia gets swept out. We have a huge move up, and then we look to continue the move higher. Okay. So if we actually go on the, or just have a look, what did the daily look like at this point? So we had actually formed the lower wick of this candle, and what I've basically said to myself is cool. Am I happy to say that this potentially is the low of the wick, and that we are just going to go and see upside? That's the sort of frame of mind you want to be in. So the fact that we'd filled an FEG, we'd shown displacement higher, and we'd swept Asia low, so this fits on my daily cycles, I was happy to assume that I was looking to get on board with the next hourly candle. So I know this hourly candle is going to create a lower wick, and that's what I'm going to look to position myself in. So the wick of this hourly candle, and then see price go higher. Now, in terms of where did I anticipate price to retrace to, on the hourly here, it doesn't really give us much information. The only real levels we have is this 1 hour down close candle. Again, you could argue maybe we return back to the hourly FEG here. What I decided to do was actually go over to DXY and see if there were any other areas that I could use as confluence. So just to paint the picture as well on DXY, we have a 4 hour FEG that was tagged. Again, same framework, right, that I've already gone over. And if you focus on this screenshot, we actually already are trading inside of that wick of that daily candle, tapping this immediate rebalance, okay, which is roughly this area here. So if I go back to the hourly, again, the daily candle is currently bullish, and we're anticipating it to be bearish, which is great, right? So this is basically like the best part of the daily candle to look for entries. I noticed we have this 1 hour inversion level. Here we go. And essentially, once we that was the area I chose to execute on. So essentially, when DXY went ahead and reached for this level here, this is when I went over to Euro and looked to position myself in the sell. Okay, so if I just play 1 hourly candle along, right, you can see we tap it ever so slightly and we melt. Okay, if I go over to Euro, you can see it doesn't really tag anything, right? Even on the 15-minute here, we don't retrace into this FEG. I was aware when I did enter that we could form a 15-minute FEG and push from there. I was more than happy to say, you know what, we've tagged my area of interest that I want to see, and I'm not going to be greedy. Okay, I'm not going to say, oh, let's wait for this, wait for that. At the end of the day, the setup itself is great, right? Even if we didn't form that 15-minute FEG, that's not necessary for me to actually qualify this setup. The qualifications, everything's already been done. All I'm looking for is to get behind the trade. So whether I'm waiting for this tap or this tap or this or that, it doesn't really change anything, and essentially it just potentially minimizes my ability to actually enter into the trade. And I talk a lot about this. I think I mentioned this on one of my more recent reels, is that you actually want to get rid of the fluff within your trading plan. So realistically, all these components I've just given you are what are necessary for me to get behind the trade and make it high probability. If I waited for this FEG to form, it's just more things that need to form in order for me to take the trade. Is this going to be revolutionary in the setup, in this specific setup? Not really, right? In other cases, I would wait for displacement above a swing high plus an FEG. In this case, I wouldn't. Okay, the 1 hour closure is strong enough, and I'm more than happy with that. So I end up executing in and around this level on multiple accounts. One of my fills was really crap. It was like very high up. So on one of them I got a 2R, and the other one I got a 2.5R. Okay, so let's just yeah, there we go. So yeah, I got entered in about here. So literally as I saw DXY tag, I was like, cool, flipped over to Euro, execute. My SL was at Asia low. Okay, so if you go back on the 50-minute here, it's at liquidity. I like to have my SLs in just reasonable places. All right, some of you might argue this is 11 pips, this is fairly large. As long as I can get 2R out of it, I don't really care. And this is a reasonable stop placement. Yes, maybe you could shave and have it at different areas. I was happy with this area. I would have been surprised if price did get down here and then push. And that's sort of where you want your stop placements to be. You want them to be in logical areas where price shouldn't really tag. So the logic behind this, and the logic behind putting SLs at liquidity in general, is if let's say smart money has paired orders with this low, right, and people are trapped beneath under this low, then when price goes ahead and pushes higher, they shouldn't return to this zone because it's essentially going to relieve the guys who are stuck short underneath this breakout, okay, or false breakout. So again, stop beneath the low there, and as price slowly pushed up, I managed my stop loss higher and higher and higher. I don't think I was at break even. Oh, you know what? Maybe after this hourly closure, I was very close to break even, potentially having my SR at the low here. I didn't anticipate another hourly candle to go ahead and tap this FEG or anything like that. And then if I play the next hourly candle, you can see we tap TP. Okay, so it was very nice. It was one of those early morning trades which are typically really, really, really nice because it's literally just getting behind a move very early in the day, and they're closing out within sort of an hour 15, which was very nice. Pretty much full upside. I didn't really have to sit through too much. Price did play around my entry for about 30 minutes, which was fine. After that, we just had strong bullish upside. No real opportunity for me here to scale in my opinion. I was thinking about it, but there were no sort of areas where I thought, you know what, this makes sense, and I wanted to sort of add to my position. So yeah, very nice trade. That is pretty much the entire breakdown. If you guys want access to my 3-step daily bias framework, then I'll leave a link in the description there. But yeah, feel free to have sort of ask any questions in the comment section. If you are wondering about sort of any other details behind this trade, then do let me know and I will respond. Okay, so anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one.